Yeah.
It's okay. Well, hello, everybody. This is Real and Ron. I'm Lynn, and you are.
I'm Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Nice to make you laugh before we go live. I love that. I always
You-
love to surprise Lynn about what I'm going to say, and then it just carries over to when we go live. So
yeah, it does. So we'll be right back right after this. Welcome back to the Real and Ron. And I'm Lynn, and Brian's up to his shenanigans
yeah,
today.
my lighting sucks, man. I look like I'm like pale white or something
It's
today.
okay. But
Yeah.
I just laugh because he actually says, today I'm like ginger. And I'm like,
Today I look
never.
like ginger.
And today, well, no, you don't. You actually don't to me. And it's funny that you think so. But to hear him admit something like, I look ginger today, like, I never thought I'd hear that out of his
The
mouth.
natural color of my skin's not coming through with this lighting.
And there's Scott Redegard.
Regard.
We're so happy you're here. I'm here so the
So the
party can.
party,
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. We were waiting for you.
absolutely. Absolutely. He
This
is just.
this event cannot be initiated until Scott's here.
Da-da-da!
He's holding a magical wand up to his
Yes,
computer
he
right
is. That is so awesome. Now when I see Scott first, I also think of Larry uh, Snyder because either one of them have always been the first one to say hello on our show.
now. Right.
So, yeah. Hi, Teodora.
Theodora, party people. Wow,
Yes,
she's
we
giving us a
are.
compliment.
Yep. And so, yeah, so we get a 2-for-1 with Scott because it reminds me of Larry and him that always supporting our show. And we really appreciate you for that, Scott.
Well, and I've never met Scott or talked to him or whatever, but his behavior in watching as many shows as he can is just what Larry did too when he was with us. So
yeah, so that's why I think it's and Scott he supports so many podcasts. I mean, like Ken's and Teodora's, and he's just somebody that's there, and I'm just so grateful. And that's where integrity can start, right? I mean, the integrity of being who you are and being consistent and all those things.
I think that nice segue, Lynn. Really, really nice way to just tie that in today's subject is without even knowing it, you could be practicing integrity.
Mm-hmm.
Just by your behavior and how you show up every day. But then eventually it becomes a mindset. It becomes a discipline that you will not. You will not. You guys are making me blush. Yeah, good.
You should. We like that because
Lynn makes me blush all the time.
Yeah. So. And you make me blush. So it's like a circle.
And see, I love doing it backstage because then the result of that comes on stage, So, but what I was saying is that when it's integrity, it's kind of like Jeffrey, where he did his 959 for 959 or however many days in a row, and then it came to an end. But it was like just that discipline, I mean, that's integrity, saying what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just love to use these non-negotiable disciplines like honor, trust, commitment, integrity. That's why, to me, integrity is one of the most important ones. To me, it's probably the most important next to commitment in love, is because it's non-negotiable, and you're either in it all the time or you're not. I mean, there is no 50%.
And
what do you think, Lynn?
I agree. And the fact is, I've learned a long time ago that your word is everything, and and then there's times where I'm realizing that a couple things lately that I'm not being able to follow through the way I want to because I said I was going to do.
Right.
And then I have other things that come on, and it's like, okay, so it's really hard that when life throws you different curves, that your integrity, you're wrestling within yourself to say, but I wanted to keep my word to do this, but then it's not excuses when you have somebody pass away in the family, and it's not excuses this or that. However, you realize how it doesn't resonate with you that you can't keep other promises.
Right.
And so I was just using that as a scenario, and Hold on. And so I'm live right now. I gotta hang up on them. Anyway, so the thing is that, you know, it's the whole integrity thing of when you battle within yourself to say, hey, because we don't give excuses, right? We know not to have excuses, and then you're like, okay, so how are we going to handle this? And yeah, we have the protocol when things happen that you got to realize that something happened not behind your control,
Right.
but it really runs havoc conscientiously to say, yeah, but you made promises to other people. So, you know, and I guess that's where compassion comes in, and giving yourself a little bit of grace to realize whatever. But it really such resonates with me to keep your word and be of integrity. So
Yeah.
it's kind of an act sometimes you have
Well,
to.
and it's interesting that when people are out of integrity, I mean, they don't want somebody else to do to them what they're going to do to themselves. And what I mean by
Right.
that is, if you're the only one affected by your integrity, which you're not, right? If you have any friends, any family, anybody that you relate to, a boss, a friend, a dog, whatever, you have some kind of accountability, you have some kind of integrity to maintain your commitment, right? Or not. It's your choice. But I think though that a lot of people, you know, like if it's for their needs, like let's say somebody is all excited to go on a date, for instance, pick your scenario, it doesn't really matter. The point is like when somebody values their time and they value the time of others, but then when the reciprocity of that is not there, then they go back on, well, you know, that person wasted my time or didn't show up for a date or whatever. Well, consider stopping with yourself and looking back at like what you're doing to others, right?
Right.
Because usually there's a boomerang effect going on there. Is that usually it's not limited to what people are doing to you, you're also doing it to others, but you minimize it, or it's a blind spot to you. And
Yep.
so integrity is not only not only your word to others and your actions, but also though what you will accept to have in your life. You
Right.
know, if people are saying, well, you know, I don't know, or whatever, it's one of the best things you can do for your integrity, for your heart, for your soul, and for your mind, is if you're not able to, like, let's say you see something coming up and you just can't do it because you got no time, right? You look ahead in your schedule, like I have to reschedule a therapy appointment, right?
Right.
I'm going to call up and say I can't make it, whether the dates are available, because it's not going to get any easier the longer you just kind of let it go and don't take any action on it, right?
Right.
But I
Right.
don't want to affect anybody else that could take that slot that needs that help, right?
Right. Right.
So it's that accountability, but also though it's like when I can't get in for an appointment, I wish somebody would take the action to call up, you know, and say, hey, I can't
Yeah.
make it, and then it opens up a spot for me. So
Right.
there's a but it seems like it all goes away when you put your stake in the ground, you're firm in your own skin, and what you will accept is what you give to others. You know, if
Right.
people want to play games, if they want to wait till to see which way the wind blows today or whatever, if they're going to commit to you for a meeting, a lunch, whatever. No, I don't live my life that way.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing too is because like if you say that if you own up to like, hey, I can't make this, and you let somebody know because you're looking ahead, and you say why, not only does it allow you to reinforce why you're doing it, but you'll also value somebody's time, you know.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know this in life because we're all focused on our own stuff, but how you show up to others is usually when you least expect it. It's by your proven track record about how you show up when you're not looking, when everybody's keeping tabs on our stuff, but also though, like when this person's name comes out, you know, when somebody says a person's name, what comes to mind? It doesn't have to be this very big essay based question here. It's very simple. Is a person living their life within the realm of integrity?
Yeah.
You know, but then you always have a moment to restore your integrity. I think a lot of people miss that, and then they make themselves wrong for it versus, hey, I messed up. I gave my word to this. I was not there. It makes it a heck of a lot easier, and it feels a heck of a lot better than missing the date and ignoring somebody and then wondering why they're upset at you or they don't want to talk to you.
Right. I like what Marissa has here.
I heard this today. If you hold it differently, you can handle it. Yeah.
Yep. Right. Love that.
It's a
Okay.
matter of the mind, right?
Yep. It's a
Yeah.
mind shifts.
Yeah.
That's lately what it is mind shifts. And, and I think we go through things sometimes just to be reminded that, like those that people that run late or don't ever show up on time and things like that. But yet when they want you to show up on time,
There it is. There it is.
it's the okay, do unto others, or how does that feel? And then
Yeah.
it. But those people sometimes don't take ownership to say, "Boy, I've done that to people, and now I see how it feels."
It's
And
kind
it'll
of
continue to happen to them till they learn that lesson.
Well, it's kind of like going to therapy. For a long time, I'll be the first to say, when I went to a therapy for a while, I don't know how long it was, but it was like, I'm going there with everything that transpired, and it's like I'm leaving it up to my therapist to help me. But what am I
Yeah,
investing in that? What am I
yeah,
putting at stake? What am
yeah.
I holding myself accountable to show up and move the needle, right? To make my
Right,
mental health better for my anxiety and depression.
right.
And after a while, I don't know how it happened, but I'm like, man, I'm going to write down some notes about what happened over the past month or last 2 weeks, because the mind is a very vast, small mass of tissue with a lot going on in it.
Yeah.
And we can spend our whole lives trying to understand ourselves, and we're going to run out of days. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And again, with the integrity, it's, you know, y- you've got to ask yourself, what's your belief system on how you feel
Yep,
about what you give out to the world,
correct.
and how you're going to portray that. And yet, because I've said many times before, we have the choice of looking at people where they're at, and make the choices of what we want to be.
Right,
But the example of what other people are, the end result is whatever you make it to be.
correct.
And we've got Mr. Jerry here.
Terry's here. Most people cannot change until they get their ass kicked really good. That is true. I can speak from personal experience. A sore ass will provide a significant mind change. Yeah, Jerry, my band-aids are running out, and my wounds are healing. So you definitely know how to give out an ass whooping. I'll just say that. But in a good way, in a
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
mind, in a transformative way that I can never thank you, because you get me out, you get me out of my shell. And
yeah.
that applies
It,
to anybody that's willing to hold you accountable. That do you want them to be a cheerleader, or do you want them to change your life?
right, right. And that's the thing is, we don't really see or appreciate people's attitudes towards us until we check our own attitude.
Correct.
It's like, because it's not about them. Why are you upset about how your behavior is?
Right.
Take ownership of how your integrity is, and then you can go forward from
Yeah.
there.
I mean, there's not a person on the planet that loves to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Andy Frisella, any of these major successful people that loves to go out and work out and do all of that, but they do it because that they have to, right? Like Mel Robbins says, anything that you really want to do in life, you're not going to want to do. It's just the way it works. You're not going to want to do the things that you need to do because they're hard. Because
Yeah,
if everybody could do them, they would do them already.
right.
You got to make that choice on a day by day basis. But just like me walking every day, I think I've got almost 800 days in a row where I walk anywhere between 4 to 15 miles, and it feels great. But
That's
now
awesome.
it's such a part of my routine that I don't even think about it.
That's awesome.
So if you can get yourself whatever that is that you want to form a routine around, you need to if you can grind it out for whenever that mental trigger happens for you. For me, it was between day 50 and day 52 where I'm like, so this is what they mean by a habit. So thank you, Scott. It's but it that's just only one area. You know what I mean? And it depends on whatever you define as a fulfilling life.
Absolutely.
What do you define? That's personal, that's intimate, that's for each person to define. But if you never do that, don't be surprised if the world doesn't open up for what you want, because you haven't declared it, you haven't put it out there in the universe.
Absolutely. Boy, well, I think we're going to start wrapping it up here. So what's your takeaway for today?
Integrity goes to my core. The reason why I brought up the topic as a possible idea is because there's no wavering from it, right?
Yeah.
Can somebody can somebody make up excuses and all the talk about it? Sure. But integrity is one of those qualities and one of those traits, no matter your definition of it, that you either have it or you don't. It's either like a light switch, it's either on or off. And but you also have the moment to restore your integrity in any given moment. We're all human beings. We all get off track. But if you're willing to restore your integrity, if you're out of it, you're going to blow people away. I've done that before where I'm like, hey, I was 3 minutes late. I need to restore my integrity that I was not here when I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
They look at me funny. They really do. But when integrity matters so much to you and you live your life out of it, those are the things you do because it matters more to declare it and restore it because you value that person's time more than you value your own. That's those are my final words. How about you?
And accountability is integrity. Keeping the accountability of yourself and what you're doing. And having integrity starts with you having integrity for yourself
100%.
and building from that integrity, going forward and going outward and realizing that how many times are you going to say yes to something and you realize that that's going to infringe on your integrity when you always a yes, yes, yes. Right. Sometimes you have to say no in order to keep that integrity. And that is a value to remember. I'm not going to give a false promise to somebody and not deliver, because then that would ruin your integrity. So
100%. I mean, especially if you set yourself up for failure where, Lynn, I'm sure that over the years, and I don't want to speak for you, but you're so busy with work and it's like you want to help as many people as possible, but you can't physically go anymore. You can't mentally give any more than what you have, but you don't want to say no because you don't want to upset them. And they know you as being a yes person, but eventually you got to say time out with yourself is that, hey, my tank is empty. Yep. My mental tank, my physical tank, my spiritual tank. I need some rest. I need to sleep. I need to not have any responsibilities today.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where you just halt things and take it going forward. Just remember, there's a lot of people that are not going forward with you in their own lives. So they're not going to understand your journey. They're not going to understand where you're going and what you're doing, but that's okay. Because remember, there was a time that you didn't either.
That's right.
So going forward, you don't leave no one behind, but just know that you have a little grace for them. And in time, they'll see the difference and they'll see your integrity, and that'll inspire them to go ahead and work on themselves. That's what I believe.
Well, and one final thing about integrity, because I know we got to go, is integrity is 100% what you do for yourself. You don't do it for accolades. You don't do it for that of boys. You don't do it for testimonials. You don't do it for anything other than it's your foundation. It's where you need to be in this world. It's where your mind needs to be. Your actions need to be. Your growth, your development. You do it for yourself. You don't do it for anybody else. Just like getting healthy, eating better, whatever that is, you do it for yourself. You don't do it for attracting somebody or whatever. That's a false pretense. Integrity is something you do for yourself because that's how you want to live life.
I love it. The mic just fell.
Mike is on fire, maybe. I don't know. It's up for everybody.
Well, thank you guys for showing up and being part of our live part. And we look forward to comments later in the comments. And if you got any value from this, don't forget to share it out. And we'll see. Have a great weekend, Brian.
You too, Lynn.
Okay.
How's the weather out there in Montana?
It's so sunny. It was so beautiful, sunny, taking my granddaughter to school this morning. I was just in love with the sun. I was just like, it was so grateful for the sun today. So I needed that.
Do you have any final words as we send everybody off for this weekend? Any final words?
Just have a good one. And remember, even though your show is only 20 minutes long, you give us 1 hour.
Thank you.
Scott Ricard.
Wow, Scott. Thank you. Wow.
And and there's sunshine. Speaking of sunshine, there's sunshine right now. That's Jules' cousin.
We couldn't have planted that any better.
I know,
planned
right?
That any better.
I know. But my final words is just, keep defining and asking yourself, who are you and who you want to be, how you want to be reminded and how you want to give to the world. And you want to give from a full cup, not an empty one. So
my final words for everybody is to get lost in something you love.
There you go.
Give yourself a day to read all day. give yourself a day to play video games, whatever that is that fulfills you. Do it, because if you don't, it's going to be the grind. You're going to be focusing on usually putting out fires and everybody else. Now, obviously, depending on your circumstances, you may not be able to do that, but give yourself some time. You deserve it, because you
There
work
you
so
go.
hard to try to achieve your goals and success. But you can't do it if you're not fulfilled, if you don't do the things you love to do.
That's right. Well, you have a good one, Brian,
You
and
too,
we'll
man.
see you guys next week.
Bye,
Love you
everyone.
guys. Bye.
Love you.
Bye.